When the Gemara says, I don't know which one God desires, the darkness or the light, that sounds like a marriage. That sounds like the core dilemma in a marriage. We are married because we want to become one. But on the other hand, if we become one, then one of us is not necessary. So on the one hand, in marriage, you want your husband or your wife to be a complete person, not a clone of you. On the other hand, when a spouse acts like a complete person, you feel abandoned. So you want to merge and become one, but then again, there's this friction, this tension in the marriage where are we one or are we two? What's the more important, what is the more exciting part of marriage? The fact that the two of you have become one, or the fact that the person you're married to is their own person? Would we enjoy a marriage to a spouse who couldn't do anything but what we desired? Would any man want a wife who has no will of their own? Would any woman want a husband who has no opinion? Who couldn't go off and do his own thing? I don't think so. That's the darkness. The fact that God creates a world, but people can do what they want, that's the darkness. The fact that the wicked have their own lifestyle of their own making, of their own choosing, that's the darkness. But isn't that the part that God likes most? Obviously, He created a world unlike Himself. Which is one of the problems with angels, which we'll talk about next time. So human beings, this world was created because it's other than God. It has a dark side, and that's what God likes. On the other hand, God also wants us to fulfill His commandments and to do what He wishes. So that's the light. Those are the deeds of the righteous. So the Gemara says, I'm not sure which one of these is more exciting. How is it that God can create a world that doesn't have to obey Him? What are we seeing when we see God's world in darkness? So it says in Kabbalah that the fact that God created a finite world in which we are free to deny Him, that proves how infinite God is. What do we see from this? Takes us back to our original statement. It shows how God created the world for no reason. Because this world has no reason to exist. Yeah.
I'd like you to explain to me how there can be no reason but a purpose. They seem so much the same.
A purpose means an end goal.
Would that be a reason?
Not necessarily. You can set yourself a goal. I want to get to this, point A by tomorrow afternoon. That's your goal. That's your purpose. That's your objective. Now I can ask you, why? Why do you want to be at point A by tomorrow afternoon? And you say, I don't know. Yeah. So, although it is absolutely true that God had no reason for creating, he definitely has a purpose. And that purpose takes up most of Torah, describing the purpose. God wants the world to be holy. He wants us to do mitzvahs. He wants us to avoid sin. He's got all sorts of stuff going on in this project of his. But why did he start this project? And why does he want to attain this goal? No reason. So, why did God create us with freedom of choice? Well, because God wants a relationship. And in order to have a relationship with us, we have to have a personality. We have to have an opinion. Because it's no fun relating to someone who has no opinion. That makes sense? Almost. What makes most sense? God wants oneness. He wants to be one with us, because he is Hashem Echad. He is the God of oneness. How can he be one with us when he is God and we are not? How can he be one with us if he created the world for no reason? Because he's the beginning. But we are not the beginning. So how are we compatible? How will we ever understand him? The answer is, he created us with freedom of choice. Freedom of choice means I don't need to be good. Just like God doesn't need to be good. He can be good, he can be bad. He can create good, he can create bad. Because he's infinite. He created us with freedom of choice means I don't have to be good. I don't have to be bad. So when I decide to be good, where is that decision coming from? It's coming from nowhere, just like him. So in order for us to be able to relate to him, and in order for him to have a oneness with us, he has to give us his ultimate quality. And his ultimate quality is that he doesn't have to be anything, and yet wants goodness. And that's how we are created. We don't have to be anything, because we have freedom of choice. And yet we choose to do good. Why? For no reason.